This is 5th grade math and science integrated. We are working on Migration Math Madness. We are going to be talking about shorebird migration, and shorebird migration is one of the most spectacular wildlife events known today. So before we start talking about it, we are going to do a little KWL chart, what you know about migration and the migration of shorebirds, what you want to know, and what you want to learn. And then what you learned. And so Miss Mayo will divide you guys up into 3 groups, and then we'll read our passage.
Okay, I'm going to number you guys off first, and then I will do our reading. So listen to your number. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going to have the 1s go into this table right here next to me. The 2's back there in that corner, 3's over there. Okay, I'm going to read the Migration Madness packet to you guys so you can all hear it at the same time. Migrating birds travel long distances between wintering and nesting areas. Most birds do not fly nonstop between these areas, although many are capable of doing so. Timing of migration is related to the seasonal temperature changes, but is first triggered by the change in the amount of daylight. During the spring, most birds do not migrate north faster than 35 degrees Fahrenheit isotherm moves. This isotherm is an imaginary moving line that represents air temperatures at any one specific time. The area north of this line is cooler than 35 degrees Fahrenheit, and the area south of this is warmer than 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Migrating behind the isotherm ensures that the birds will reach their nesting area, the water and the ground will not be frozen. In the fall, temperatures affect the amount of food available to shorebirds. Insects and plants die off in the cooler temperatures, so the birds keep moving south to where warmer temperatures mean abundance of food. The migratory routes of birds, referred to as flyways, are not specific narrow highways, but general routes that most migrants travel to follow. Most shorebirds' flyways follow the shoreline habitat the birds prefer. In North America, shorebirds also migrate inland along the central flyway that follows freshwater river systems. Many other shorebirds migrate to the Atlantic flyway, traveling the southernmost tip of Argentina along the American Atlantic coast up to Canada. One of the major routes by the Alaskan Arctic nesting shorebirds is the Pacific Flyway, a path between South or Central America wintering areas and nesting areas in the Arctic regions of Alaska and Canada. The Central Pacific Flyway extends across the ocean from New Zealand to the Pacific Islands of Hawaii and up through the Alaskan Arctic. The East Asian Australian Flyway runs from Australia to Japan, China, and Korea, and to Russia and Alaskan Arctics. Wetland stopover sites are important for shorebirds because they provide areas to feed and rest along migration routes. If a bird flies between Argentina and Alaska, it covers almost 7,000 to 8,000 air miles. Without local wetlands, many birds would not get enough food to make the entire trip. Birds, like fish, can move in 3-dimensional spaces. This means that besides moving across the earth, they also can change in altitude. About 15% of shorebirds migrate at elevations below 10,000 feet. However, pilots have observed shorebirds flying at about 29,000.
Thank you, Ms. Mayo, for reading that. So now in your groups, I would like you guys to find 2 or 3 vocabulary words within the passage that you did not know. You will then get your iPads or computers out, and you will look them up and write the definitions down on a separate sheet of paper.
Okay. We have our worksheets that each of you have. You each have 3 worksheets. Since there are 4 of you in each group, we want to have someone be the voice who's going to teach the class the information that you gathered. Someone's going to be the writer who's going to write down the information collected. Someone's going to measure the distance that you're finding, and another person is going to be the timer to keep track of the time. the different worksheets. We have shorebird migration of the Central Flyway.
We have the Atlantic Flyway, and then we have Pacific Flyway. So group 1, will you have Central? 2s, you guys will do the Atlantic, and then 3s, you will do Pacific. I understand the Central has one more, but you guys will be okay. So what you guys are going to do is you're going to, you can just hold it. You're going to, each group will get a piece of string. What you do is you're going to take the string, put it at the beginning of where the migration is, and follow it along the path. When you get to the end, what you'll do is put a little mark on it. Once you find that mark, you will then be able to use the key to determine how many miles there are. So let's say I just did, which one did I do?
You just did this.
I did the
dotted.
The beef-breasted sandpiper. And so I will do, so that's 1,000 miles right there. And then I'll move another one. That's 2,000 miles. Then it's 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, etc. So then once I get that, I will put down where I found them in their chart. I will put down 6,000 miles in the miles section. We will do the conversions into kilometers after you guys find all the miles. So start working. Have one person writing, one person using the string, and then the other 2, one will keep an eye on the time, and the other will teach the class once we are all done. So start working. If you have any questions, just let me or Miss Mayo know.
Let us know if you need more string in case you've marked yours too many times. If you need anything.
Try to follow the line as accurately as possible. I know some of them are kind of hard or they overlap, so just try to get it. All of our numbers won't be the exact same, which is okay.
Okay, is everyone good with this? Has everyone done all the measurements? We're all set to go? Okay, good.
Perfect. Okay, so now that everyone has their miles for their different birds, we are going to convert it into kilometers. So what we did, I wrote the equation up. 1 mile equals 1.609 kilometers. So, for example, we redid the buff-breasted sandpiper, and so we got 8,000 miles. So you're going to do, we'll have your 8,000. Okay, so then we're going to try to figure out how many kilometers there are, okay? So what we do is we're going to multiply the 8,000 by the 1.609. So everyone get your calculators out and do it with me. So you have 8,000 times 1.609. And what me and Miss Mayo got, we got 12,872 kilometers. Did everyone else get that? Perfect. Okay, so now we helped out with the one group by doing the 1. So now I'm going to ask everyone else to recalculate all of their miles and put them into kilometers, please. If you have any questions, let us know. But go ahead. I'll leave the example up there for you guys to look at in case you need any help.
Okay, so has everyone done the calculations to get into kilometers? Okay, we're going to have everyone who's a voice for their group come up and teach the class their worksheet so everyone has the same information. So if you guys could come up, the three voices, come up and teach their sections. Okay, everyone needs to be writing this down as we go. The central flyway is happening now. Make sure you're writing it down. Okay, good. We're going to move on to the Atlantic flyway now. Okay. Okay, then our last flyway, the Pacific flyway. And make sure we write the units as we go. So make sure everything has miles in the mile column and then kilometers in the kilometer column. Okay, thank you guys.
Now we're going to do the definition, what each group taught about the definitions, what new words they learned about. So group number 1, give me one word that you learned about and found the definition for. Perfect. Okay, now group 2, what did you guys learn? Okay, and group 3? Okay. And then once they give all their definitions, we'll make sure each student has all 3 papers filled out and all the information for that. And then before they leave, the students will have an exit slip that has 3 questions on it. They're going to choose a bird and do just more calculations with it, just to make sure that they get the whole converting thing and all that. They won't be graded, but it'll just be looked at to make sure they're doing the multiplication right and adding the units into it. But